What's up, Goblin Nation? It's Jabrian, and lately I've been playing a lot of Devas of Creation.
Let's spin my traits. No way, face ass.
It's been pretty relaxing, even though there are some major issues. But if you're like me, you're probably trying to figure out the best way to gather alloy to craft your gear because the enemies drop like 2 and it's not even guaranteed. Well, congrats, because I found the best alloy farm in the game. And by I found, I mean a member in my Discord found it. Alright, roll the clip.
You said be a nurse?
Yeah, I need a nurse. I'm having trouble going upstairs.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong clip. I don't know how that got there. Alright, so first what you want to do is open your eyes and look at this map, right? And so you want to head to the Ogre Stronghold on the far right. Now, you can ignore most of the enemies, but you're going to want to go to where the gap in the fence is, right before the skull, where the crystal, walls are. And then you can see there's a little waypoint there you can fast travel to. Obviously, grab it so you can get your back faster. This strategy works best if you're running a strength build, because then you can do a lot of damage at once, but pretty much any, build that lets you do a lot of damage at once will be good for this. If you're not able to do enough damage to kill them all in one shot, and you don't want to respec your build, you can always just find a friend and then both of you can attack at once. You can see in the background he just gathered up all the ones that spawn in this little courtyard here. The reason this works so well is just because they all spawn in a big field, so you're able to really easily run away without bumping into stuff and gather them up, and then you can obviously do the one-shot thing to take them out. Their drop rates are also better than some of the earlier enemies, and they're honestly easier because they don't have block bars or a bunch of combos and stuff. I think either a greatsword or a bow would both be really good for this strategy. Now be careful, because if you're not very good at the game, you can end up gathering a group and they will just beat you to death. Man, that's so embarrassing. I sure hope nobody saw that. So that's about it for the alloy part of the video. I also kind of wanted to vent about some things that really annoy me about this game, like how it takes you forever to travel the map. And you can tell that they really made like the waypoints you can travel to are really far apart, and they're not really that helpful. You end up having to travel a lot anyways. And I think this is to force everyone to use mounts, which wouldn't be a problem if it didn't take so long to get a mount. You can do the mount quest at level 20, but it's like a random chance. I've done it 8 times and have not gotten a mount. And it's not even a simple quest either. It has 3 parts, and then you need to stock up on some of those sigils just for your chance. You need to have 2 potions and 2 sigils or something like that. And then so it's once you do it a set amount of times, then you got to go back to town, buy more sigils if you didn't buy a lot. It's such a pain in the ass. Pretty much everyone I've seen say they stopped playing this game, it's because it's just walking simulator. It takes you so long. I ended up using the fire staff just because the first move you can get lets you fly, and you go faster with it. So I just ended up using that and not having a secondary. And all this leads me to my next point. This game is way overly monetized. When you do the mount quest, you spin for a chance, right? But then you can pay Robux to spin again without doing the quest. And it's who isn't going to feel tempted after spending 30 minutes just trying to get a mount and then ending up getting just 3,000 of the cash? It's so annoying. And then when I'm trying to expand my storage space in my bag, it gives me a pop-up that's we have a more efficient way, and it's just a $4 purchase that gives me a bigger bag space. It's everywhere, and there's a shop, and pretty much anything you can gamble for in this game, you can also pay to do it again. And the battle pass is almost $20. It's not $20, but if you want to buy it and you don't have any already in your account, you need to buy the $20 pack of Robux. It's just a pain in the ass. And then the third problem I have is that there's no build variety. Magic kind of sucks. It needs buffs, and so do daggers. Everyone's running greatsword for a reason. It just hits way too hard and has a good amount of range, so everyone's running a greatsword and a bow. I think a good suggestion would be to have staffs benefit off dexterity. That way there's another reason to put points into dexterity, and then have a melee weapon that also uses magic, so it's not, you know what I mean? Because strength has a strength bow and a sword, right? But magic just has range. It needs a close quarters thing, unless you're just gonna have 2 staffs, which would be really dumb. I think they said they're gonna add a scythe, a spear, and an axe, which is kind of weird because the axe is definitely just gonna be another strength weapon. The spear is probably gonna be dex, similar to a dagger, and I don't know about the scythe. Maybe that one uses magic. Also, maybe they just need to give every weapon a 4th move that you could slot in to replace one of the other ones. But it feels like you master your weapon so early, and then you spend the the last half of the game just, you know, getting these dumb little perks that don't really change anything, because you already got the good ones first, right? You got the one that changes your weapon the most. So then to finish the slots out, you're getting the worst ones. This is probably the most polished Roblox game I've ever played, but it doesn't really have that much depth, and we really need more stuff to grind for, because right now it's pretty much just mounts at the end. I think some good changes would be more unique, like boss drops, you know, or even not even just bosses, but like, let's say you're fighting a skeleton, maybe there's a skeleton sword. Like, it doesn't need to be a boss, right? Anything just dropping unique stuff gives you a reason to grind them out. Like, they could add unique mounts to certain enemies, that way you have a reason to come back and grind them when you're already kind of max level and are past the area. Oh, and I think one of the biggest things is that the enemies don't really even have variety when it comes to fighting. Like, they all just have like the normal attacks and then the one like hyper armor move that does a lot of damage or stuns you. And there are some later enemies that have like block bars and actually dodge and have combos. They need to give that AI to like earlier enemies, or let you fight weaker versions of them early on, like maybe like bandits or something like that, because those are like way more fun to fight than, than the generic animals that we spend 90% of the game fighting. And I think the last thing this game could really benefit from is like a more fleshed out skill system. I really like leveling up fishing, woodcutting, mining, those things. But it doesn't really feel like there's much of a difference between the levels. Also, does anyone know if like fishing levels gives you like an easier mini game, or how it affects it? Is it just fishing speed? How does that work? Like, the weapons are level locked, but it's like level 10, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like you're going to be over leveled by the time you unlock the requirement. There are some fishing spots that you need to be like level fishing 7 to get to, but it's like they just have better odds, you know what I mean? I can still fish super rare stuff from earlier fishing spots, and I wish it was like a little bit more rewarding when you leveled up. Maybe there's like fishing nets too, you know what I mean? I know this is going to sound kind of dumb, but like, I think they need to make it harder. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't get the higher level wood unless you like spend a lot of time wood cutting, because there's a whole player marketplace and I'd love to have a reason to use it, but right now I can just gather everything I want by myself, aside from like, you know, pets and like, you know, rare weapons and stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it'd be cool if I could just sell a bunch of wood and actually make money, but it doesn't feel like anyone's making money. I put some experience potions in the market, and it took like 3 days before they sold. I'm like, okay. And there were like 100 each. I'm trying to have suggestions that would like make sense and wouldn't take like a lot of work to implement. Like, reskinning like the harder enemies as like bandits, I think would be a pretty easy thing for them to do. Like, all you'd basically need to do is reskin those enemies, lower their stats so they're weaker, and then add a quest in a lower level area to like kill bandits in the area, you know? And then if they wanted to give you a better reason to grind, you know, all these enemies, they can just like, even reskin. Like, I wouldn't even have a problem if they changed the color a bit, like make the pig black, because there are black pigs, that's like a thing. And then maybe like raise its stats and then make it super rare, but it only drops from like some of the ogres, you know what I mean? I think this would be a cool addition. Also, they definitely need to add a quest that gives you a mount, like a really bad mount even, like to the beginning town, because it takes you so long to get a mount that people are just quitting before they get one. It honestly sucks because a lot of the endgame stuff looks really cool, like, you know, like the ranked PvP looks really cool, and some of the flying mounts look amazing, especially when you see someone just riding by. And so obviously I'll probably still keep playing the game, but these are like big issues that are probably going to stop a lot of my friends from playing the game more than like once, you know, because you just see how long it takes you to do stuff, and there's just no rewards while you're doing it. And that's what these games need, is they need like rewards constantly hitting you as you do the boring stuff. That way you have a reason to keep playing. You know, you get that little dopamine rush, and then you log back in tomorrow. I think that's all I really have to say on the game. I'm really enjoying it so far. I just can see a lot of room for improvement, and I have a higher tolerance for grindy games than I think a lot of people. Like, I don't need to be rewarded as much, but some people really just, obviously you get bored and you're like, why am I gonna hop on that when I could play something I'm having fun now, you know? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching. I know this is like 90% a rant video and only a little bit of something else, so, you know, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Oh, you can request. You can request a nurse.
I completed it. I got an achievement for putting you in
You
a
have different
wheelchair.
controls for being a nurse. That's interesting.
Get your ass in the shitter.
Yep.
All right. Shut the
Old
door.
man.
Shut the door. Dignity.